Sheldon Keefe, the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sheldon, appreciate your time. Just your early thoughts of coming out of training camp, it finally being over, and then introduction of Fraser Minten.
Well, hi guys. Great to be on the show here. It's great of you to finally talk Bourne into letting me back on. It's been a while since chatting with you guys, but yeah, it's exciting. It's training camp's long, preseason's long. You certainly feel it. We played eight preseason games, which was a lot, and probably a lot on the coach and the coaching staff, more so than the players, the way we spread it out. But when you come out of it with a player like Fraser Minten that sort of emerged through all of it, it's added some excitement to it for sure. I guess I would include Easton Cowan in that as well. But specific to Fraser, we feel like he earned a spot here. We feel like he sort of separated himself from a lot of the others who were competing, and once there was a little bit of breathing room there on the salary cap after the decision was made to move Sam Lafferty, then we thought it was a pretty easy decision from that point in terms of giving Fraser an opportunity to start the season with us.
Just one more before JB takes a crack at you here, Sheldon. Just in terms of the difference between coaching a guy here in the first week or two opposed to a call-up who's been around a few years with the Marlies. How important is it that you put him in a position to show off his strength? I don't think the right terms insulate him, but as a coach, when you're dealing with a 19-year-old teenager, what are some of the things that you can do to put him in the best light?
Well, you know what? I think it's just, for me, it's just continuing on with what he's done in preseason. And, I don't look at it as though, of course, off the ice, we've got to help him. That was one of the first things, once we made this decision. It's like, okay, the hockey stuff we think will work itself out, but let's make sure we're taking care of him off the ice, make sure we've got him insulated that way, in terms of just making sure he's taken care of with his living arrangements and settling things in there, and kind of working towards that, and trying to help make things as normal as they can be, given that it's a lot coming out of a young guy quickly. But the on-ice stuff, for me, if I felt that we had to insulate him, or if I felt that he wasn't ready, then you're probably not doing this. For me, his game, and why you entertain this is his game is really mature. His game is, when I look at the habits and how he plays, the intelligence that he plays with, and he's competitive and he's quick on the puck. He's picked up a lot of the nuances of our system very, very quickly, and has done so, frankly, better and quicker than some guys that have been with us for years and have been through the process with it. So it speaks to his intelligence, and I think that's one of the things about Fraser and about how you look at it is a lot of times you come out of these camps and with young players, that are unexpected, young draft picks, and usually it's something like maybe they've scored a bunch of goals, or they've done some things that are really flashy and really obvious, and you think, wow, you know what, we'll give him a longer look. In Fraser's case, he plays an NHL game, and we're excited to see that in what will be the real NHL, or certainly as much as the real NHL you will call for in the first week of the season here.
Kiefer, first off, thank you for joining us after, not joining us last year. I only asked you 413 times. I did want to ask you something a little bit off the board. Here in Toronto, John Schneider recently received some heat for, pulling Jose Barrios early in a game. And the debate was, did the front office tell him that, this is the plan, you have to stick to it? End of the day, he's the manager, he makes the call, and he's wearing a lot of that. How do you manage what your general managers want? How much do you consider their desires for your players versus wanting them in the best spots or different spots if your opinion does, have some conflict with what your GM would want?
Well, I think that's really kind of the art of coaching in a lot of ways, and I think you can't speak specifically to what anyone else's arrangement is or what each situation is. I think in general, like anything in any business or any walk of life, you know what you're working for, and you know what the vision is, and you know all of that. I think in my position, or any coach's position, you like to think that you're hired in part because of your instincts, and especially in a game like ours that is so dynamic and unpredictable, and so many things that arise that maybe can't be predicted, and you have to be able to adapt to and adjust on the fly. I think you have to trust your instincts. So I try to get as much information as I can, whether it's specifically tied to the vision or whether it's connected to our opponents or the status of our players and how guys are playing. And you've got to be able to make decisions. And you trust your coaching staff to help you with that, and you get as much information as you can, and puck drops, and you get seconds to make decisions. Some are game altering, and you have to sort of live with them. And I think over time you like to hope that you make more good decisions than bad ones. But that really is what it's about, and you ultimately have to live with it.
We're joined by head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Sheldon Keefe, as he prepares for the season opener against the Montreal Canadiens. That can be seen across our Sportsnet platforms. Sheldon, just in terms of styles or a relationship, the biggest difference between Brad Treliving and Kyle Dubas?
Well, I think, of course, there's little differences. It'd be hard to pinpoint one major difference. Obviously, there's age and experience and all those kind of things that I find the most unique, of course, because I've been really connected with Kyle in a lot of his own path. He and I both have been aligned out, through junior and through the Marlies and the Leafs, and then you get someone like Brad Treliving comes in, who's got obviously far different experiences. It's not just him, Shane Doan as well, and him being around, and his experience that he brings from playing and all the various roles he's played since playing, whether that was with Arizona or working with the league or working with Hockey Canada and the World Championships, and I've really enjoyed that part of it, and it's felt somewhat natural. One thing I would say that's very similar with Brad and Kyle is the personalities, in the sense that they're easy to talk to. They are good. They're very good people. They care about you as a person, and I think that has made it very seamless. But certainly, I have enjoyed getting to know Brad and learning from his various experiences and how he's done things. But it still has really felt fairly natural for me, and hasn't disrupted my rhythm or flow. And if anything, the addition of our assistant coaches for myself and our coaching staff growing has really helped me as well. And I'm obviously working a lot closer with them now that we're up and running, and that's been fun.
So, obviously you and I worked together years ago, and I'm familiar with how then you liked your teams to play. You've been with the Leafs for a while now, and coaches get a reputation eventually. This is the way that coach likes his team to play. How much do you look at changing structure? It looked like in the preseason to me, you guys were doing some things a little bit differently. How much do you lean on what you've always known, or the inability to sort of reach your ultimate goal? Does that make you change? Like, will the Leafs play differently than they have in the past?
Well, I think, I first of all, I like to think that we've evolved year over year over year. Mm-hmm. Over my time with the team, and I think when I first was hired, I think we played a certain way, and we prioritized play with the puck and possession and all of those kind of things, while still, trying to improve the team defensively and playing with more intelligence with the puck and all of that. And over time, I think we've become a more competitive and physical team and all of that. And I think we're continuing to evolve and grow in all of those areas. Bourne, and I think that, part of that for me, like I was alluding to there, the coaching staff has grown over the years as well. I think each time you do that, you get a new perspective comes in, you get some new voices, you get some new ideas, and then you're also just looking at your team. I mean, obviously we're a team that hasn't reached our goal feel like we've made progress year over year, but certainly not to the point where we are content, and certainly haven't come anywhere near our ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup. So we continue to look at everything. And Guy Boucher, Mike Van Ryn have come in, two guys who've had tremendous experiences. I talked about what Brad Treliving and Shane Doan have brought in with their various experiences, but specific to coaching, Mike Van Ryn's coached junior hockey as a head coach, coached in the American League as a head coach. He's won a Stanley Cup running the defense in St. Louis. Guy Boucher's obviously had tremendous success as a head coach and has coached very deep into the playoffs. And I think both guys have really added a lot to our staff and come with lots of ideas. So we're always looking to improve and adjust our systems. I don't think there's be a huge departure from anything we've done in the past. But then within all of this, we've got some different personnel. That in itself will have a whole different flavor.
Sheldon, when I first broke into the National Hockey League in Washington with Brian Murray, few times be kind of a quiet game, and all I could hear is Brian Murray tell me, no hitters are good for baseball pitchers, not you. And that was the message to me to saying, like, let's get something going here. In the past, that we didn't get that vibe from your hockey club. And now going out there and handpicking a few players, including Ryan Reeves and Max Domi. I mean, are there times when you may need to maybe send that message to get more emotionally invested in a game? Have you seen any of it in training camp that can give you guys a different look during the regular season?
Well, I mean, first off, I don't know. I think we found a way to have a lot of success in the regular season. So I think that, from that end, I think that our guys have done a pretty good job of managing, the 82 games and the ebbs and flows that come and go with the season. But like I said, I think we have a bit of different flavor with our group. Certainly with Ryan Reeves and his presence, I think, it's not just what he brings on the ice, but the energy and the presence that he brings to the room, and I think that certainly would be felt and helps you through some of the times when it's a grind and things are quiet and you're just maybe trying to get through the day. With Domi and Bertuzzi, well, I think you speak a lot to some of the physical attributes that they may bring. I think I don't think over the course of 82 regular season games, those guys themselves are not always the most physical players, but they're players that stick their nose into everything, and they go to the net and they go to the dirty areas. And certainly, if the game gets a little hairy, they have no issues. And they're comfortable and confident in that environment. So I think that's really what it's about for me is as the emotions rise in the game, and at times perhaps we are the ones who raise the temperature of the game. We'll have more of those types of players, and of course I'm leaving out Matthew Nyes, who I think has a lot to offer in this area as well. So when you look at combinations of those types of forwards that we have here now that are not only good players and that can help us offensively, but are able to be confident and comfortable no matter what the game brings, whether it's through regular season or through in a playoff series and matchups and such. So I think that's really what you're trying to do is accumulate as many of those types of players as possible. And I think with those guys, in addition to the players that we have who are returning, who have been through the ups and downs and who have matured themselves, I like to think we've grown a lot in the intangibles of our game.
Before I let you go, I got to mention this. I don't know if you were aware the last few years that we opened up a lot of our shows with this thing called Kippers Clippers. And I got to be honest with you, there are many, many shows you saved us.
It's just you. It's just you, dude. Thanks.
Okay. All right. What have I done?
It's just you being you and us trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, just putting the pieces together, and yeah, we were used to having you off the top of the show. So thanks for coming on. We hope to have you again this year, Kiefer.
Well, it's happy to do it. Good to be on, and I guess if I can provide some entertainment, then I'm happy to do that. But I don't know whether you tell me to talk more or talk less. But,
More.
Good luck tomorrow night. Sheldon Keefe, head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay, take care.